picked his 26-man provisional squad for the Euros. We'll start with the keepers: Joe Hart, Fraser Forster, and Tom Heaton. Any arguments there?
Don't think there can be an argument. I mean, we might have a different opinion, but we know what Roy's going to go with, don't we? Joe is the one with all the experience, isn't he? Personally, I'm a big fan of what they call big fella. Fraser Forster. Yeah, Forster. No, I love him. I think he's a safe pair of hands if out does happen to Joe. And I don't know that much about Tom Heaton, Championship winner with Burnley.
Ex-Man United, didn't he?
Yeah.
Ex-Man United youth team player, I think.
No, I think nobody's going to dispute.
Bit of a shame that Butland got injured. He's got a good bright future, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think Butland would have been a certainty on the plane. But yeah, that's not taking anything away from Tom Heaton. I think he's had a fantastic season with Burnley. Rightly so, he's in there.
Move on to defenders then. We've got Ryan Bertrand, Nathaniel Klein, Kyle Walker, John Stones, Gary Cahill, Danny Rose and Chris Smalling. Bertrand, he's had a good season for Southampton, hasn't he?
Yeah, certainly has. I think what he does bring to the table is he's got that left-sided ability if we need anyone to play on the left. Watched him recently against Southampton and he played left centre-back, so it gives you a bit more balance there if need be. And he can play in other positions, he can play anywhere up that left side. And like he has shown at Southampton, he's played left centre-back, which is a benefit because we haven't got any left-sided centre-backs in the squad.
Played left wing as well in the Champions League final for Chelsea. Under Demetrio, so
good knowledge.
Again, he showed his positions that he can change all the time. And left centre back we were speaking about earlier, we haven't got one, have we?
No.
I can't remember the last time we produced a left-footed centre back. Yeah.
So. What are your thoughts on the centre halves? We've got Smalling, Cahill, and Stones. How do you feel about Stones? To start with.
Me personally, I love Stones. I know he's had a bit of criticism this year, but for us, he's the best ball-playing centre-back that I've seen in England for a long time. You know, I think he'd be suited to the Spanish game, and I know Barcelona and teams like that have been looking at him, but great player. We were talking earlier, would we start him? Would he come on the bench? It's going to be an awkward one, that one, but
I think it's a symptom of too much coverage. At the start of this season, Chelsea wanted to pay how much did they want to pay for him, and we all loved him. And then he has a little bit of a sticky whether it's his sticky patch or Everton's sticky patch, and Roberto Martinez has gone a little bit out of favour, and so they're looking to blame, you know, and he's people who believe in him, people who believe that he can play, and like you're saying, he's probably the best we've had since footballing centre back since Rio, and I'd stick with him. I love him. I think he's mint.
I think looking at the defenders that he's chose, there's a very youthful sort of sense to it. I think the only one who's got a bit of experience in there is Gary Cahill. So I think that's what he's going with. He's going with legs. He's going with potential players who can play defend in wide areas. And if he is going that way, I think Stones is the perfect choice because he is good in them areas. His recovery is good. Smalling's the same. He can defend in wide areas. Cahill's a bit more different. He's a bit more English style, a bit more aggressive in his defensive qualities. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the most exciting thing in the defensive there is the options in full-back areas. Like we've touched on with Bertrand, he can play the left side if called upon. But I think Danny Rose will definitely start there. He's been phenomenal this season. And then on the right side, what a matchup we've got there with Walker and Klein.
Yeah, well, what are your thoughts on Klein and Walker as a competition for the right
I think it's a healthy competition because they've both got real good qualities. They've both had excellent seasons. And that'll be the interesting one to see who starts. I think that's the closest matchup on that side. Personally, I think I'd go with Klein. I think he's just got that little bit more about his game definitely on the offensive side. I think that's the way it might go.
Looking at Chris Smalling, he's had a lot of criticism over the few years he's been at Manchester United, but he's had a good season this season, hasn't he, Mikey? I
think he's been one of the best defenders in the Premier League, if not Europe this year. If you look at him, he's got, like Yozu was saying there, he's got everything. He's 6'3", 6'4". He's not bad in the air. He's quick. He can play as well. So for me, it's going to be a choice between him and Stones, who starts. I think Cahill will definitely be in there for his experience, but Smalling's been outstanding. Probably been Man United's most consistent player, if I'm being honest.
I think Smalling will start. As much as I'd like to see Stones, but I think he'll go with Cahill because he's the experience, he's safe hands, isn't he? And Smalling's had a great season. You know, people jump on the Man United, so I'm not having him, but he's class. He's had a great season.
See, for me, I'd like to see both of them start, which
Interesting.
throws another one into the bag.
Like it.
Even though Cahill has got that experience, I think looking throughout the whole squad, there's so much youth in there, and we've shown in past tournaments with the experienced lads just hasn't been quite good enough.
Would that depend on the opposition you're playing against? So if you think we're going to dominate, would you start with Stones and Smalling? If you were up against it, maybe playing a Germany or someone like that, would you go with a little bit more experience, or would you just throw the young lads in there?
I don't see why the young lads can't be played, personally. The only way they get this experience is by playing. Cahill's got that. He's played a number of games now at centre-back alongside the likes of Terry and people. But there's a new breed coming through, and Stones and Smalling a testament to that. And I think as a pair, I think they could be real exciting. I really do.
I personally think that if you went right through the whole with the young'uns, so they're getting tournament experience now, and you know, hands up who thinks we're going to win it. I don't think we're going to win it, but if you give like to Stones and moving forward, Dele Alli and Harry Kane, give the young'uns the experience now, makes you wonder where, you know, this time in 2 years' time when we've qualified for the World Cup.
It's very fitting that you brought up the experience and the inexperience and the youth talent that we've got coming through, because obviously Phil Jagielka, who's a very experienced head, has missed out on this tournament. What are your thoughts on that?
I was surprised. I think I said it to you straight away. Supposedly I don't personally know him, but supposedly he's a good character around the changing room. When he's played for England, he's been superb. I can imagine that he can pass on his experience to the young lads, but like you were saying there, if they're for the youth, why not just throw them in, let them go through it and see how they deal with it? I
think Roy's put his cards on the table with that squad. I really do. I think he proved it in the last game against Germany. He sort of went out there with a freedom to let them go and play, and they terrorised him at times.
But he's a loyal fella, is Roy, isn't he? And I mean, it shocked me that Leighton Baines didn't get in. You know, he's another one that nobody's talking about. You know, big name left out. Like, you know, 2 years ago, nobody had think that he was a certain starter, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But Roy is loyal, if he's nothing else, and that is a little bit of a. Will he go with experience? Will he go with Henderson, who's played a lot of games, or will he go with the young ones?
But you talk about Henderson. How old is Henderson?
Is it not that
20,
old, is it?
23.
Is that what he is?
Yeah. So even though he's got that experience, he got a big money move at the age of 20. He's still a young lad. He's still learning the game. Even Cahill's he's not old. He's at a good age now where he can play, but he's got that bit more experience. The rest of Rooney's obviously got big names on it. The rest of the squad, they're all in the 20s or below, which is I think what like Mikey said. I think what Roy might be looking at, and Nelly is towards the next tournament.